McKay Mechanical, Peterson Insurance, Longview Bank, and State Bank of Beemont.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. The city of Clinton is officially launching its new block-by-block property cleanup initiative, a program designed to assist residents in beautifying their homes and maintaining community standards. Mayor Helen Nicolasi explains that the program aims to help families who may have gathered debris on their property but lack the physical or financial means to remove it.
What it does is if a family has some stuff that they've gathered around their property and they don't have a dumpster, or maybe they don't have physically the ability to clean it up or haul it off, we'll come in and help them do that. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
So if you have a house and you're looking at a pile of stuff, we can have a dumpster brought into a neighborhood and maybe do 2 or 3 houses in a day or two and clean up folks' yards, cut back the bushes, pull out the bushes, whatever needs to happen. Maybe plant a few flowers or give them a flower pot, anything they feel to beautify their property and clean it up.
Sure.
It helps everybody when we do that. And most people that we have talked to, and Tony says this often about you need to kind of clean up your property, they say, I'd love to, I can't afford a dumpster. Or I'd love to, but I can't physically go out there and do that. So let's go out there and do that.
The initiative is closely tied to the city's updated ordinances, which requires properties to be kept clean and sanitized. City Administrator Tony Harris notes that during conversations with homeowners about property maintenance, the primary hurdle mentioned is often the cost of a dumpster.
Yeah, again, that just goes right along with the city ordinance. You know, it's no secret that we talked about our ordinances and cleaned those up a little bit, requiring, clean, sanitized properties looking good. And that just kind of goes hand in hand with that. And, there's times where I've had to go out and, have a conversation with the homeowner because of the shape of the home or the yard, And again, like the mayor said, that's what I get. I would like to get it cleaned up. I can't afford a dumpster. So this is where we're going to step in and help, like she said, help with the dumpster and volunteers. So, it's
how much do we budget for this year?
I'll have to look. I don't have the numbers right in front of me because that was budgeted along with some other home improvement things as well. So there's like three parts of this: the block by block, the TIF facade program that it's not in place yet, but we plan on putting that in place. We can talk more about that here in a little bit. And then homes that aren't necessarily in the TIF district where we can help with the facade. When I say facade, new siding, new windows, things like that to improve the home. There might be some help for homes that aren't in the TIF district. And, we haven't got the TIF district boundary lines nailed down yet. We're further along than what we were last time I spoke. But there's like 3 projects that we're working on just to beautify the city of Clinton.
Makes sense. Very good.
Mayor Nicolasi says applications for the program will be available at City Hall starting May 11th. She stresses that the success of the program will rely heavily on community involvement.
Well, I wanted to let everybody know today that by mid-May, and I think we said the 11th, Tony, we'll have applications available at City Hall. So folks who have a piece of property that maybe needs a little help, if they pick up that application, fill it out, bring it back, I will reach out to them and go to their home and meet with them, get their input. What do they think they need and want, and what the city could maybe participate and do with them.
Okay.
Then we would do an estimate on that. If we need supplies, need a dumpster, coordinate all that, coordinate some volunteers and get to work. What I want to say today is we need individuals, families, organizations businesses to start reaching out to me right now if they want to volunteer.
Okay.
Because that's what will make or break this program,
Sure.
is having those volunteers. So they could call me.
The mayor says this is similar to a program she worked closely with in Decatur that had a great deal of success and proved to be a beneficial long-term benefit for the homeowners they assisted. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, domestic violence advocate offers encouragement in light of weekend murder arrest. The Clinton Board of Education last month approved the hiring of assistant principal for Lincoln and Douglas schools as the district prepares for major changes in those buildings starting next year. Superintendent Drew Goebel explains that this hiring is a critical component of transitioning Lincoln and Douglas schools from traditional neighborhood models to attendance centers starting next year.
Tuesday, the board, approved Lisa Lang as the assistant principal at Lincoln School. And what is new about that, Lincoln or Douglas they've never had an assistant principal ever. Before Mrs. Patrick was there, Beth Wickenhauser, she was the principal, and they literally bounced back and forth between the two schools. And I counted the blocks up the other day, and it's about 14 blocks. So some people can think, well, it's only 14 blocks, but if there's a problem, if there's something, a student really needs some help at either of those two schools, it's going to take about 5 minutes, which is not that big of a deal. But if a kid is having a rough time and the teacher needs instant support, 5 minutes is like an eternity. It really is. And I feel bad for teachers that for over a decade, when they've been in that crisis and a kid's really having a rough time, and has not been somebody to jump in and kind of assist. So next year we will have a principal and an assistant principal. And so that extra layer of support to help teachers, help kids.
The addition of an assistant principal marks a needed change for these buildings, which have historically shared a single administrator. Goebel notes the 14-block distance between the two schools often left teachers without immediate administrative support during critical moments. By placing a full leadership team across the two campuses, the district aims to provide an extra layer of stability for both staff and students.
The teachers and the kids at both those schools, in my opinion, they've needed additional supports for years.
Okay.
For years and years. I still keep in contact with Mrs. Wickenhauser, the previous principal, and we actually go to church together. And the issues and the obstacles that these are not new. And so combining the two schools does a myriad of things. It helps with balancing. It helps provide supports for our special needs students. The principal is not bouncing back and forth between the two schools. And that's not to say that Douglas School is going to be left in the dust. I want to make sure the teachers and the community know that Douglas School, Lauren Johnson is the current coordinator. She's working on her director license. So she's going to become the director. And as becoming the director, more responsibility, more things that she's going to be able to do to assist in. And right now, again, Mrs. Johnson, the coordinator, soon to be the director, she is also bouncing back and forth between those two schools. So if there's an issue or something's up at one school and Mrs. Johnson happens to be at this school, it's very difficult. And so
Goebel emphasizes that this model ends the bouncing back and forth of administrators between buildings, ensuring that a leader is always physically present at each site to handle issues as they arise.
yes, I am very excited for next year. We do have to wrap this. This year is coming, but this year's coming to an end. We're about there. And we're going to finish strong, but I am very excited about the things that are happening right now currently. For the last 2 years, Lincoln and Douglas, while I'm the superintendent of the entire district, obviously, Lincoln and Douglas does consume a lot of my time, energy. I'm at those two schools a lot. Honestly, before I came to the radio station this morning, I was at Douglas School for a little bit. So combining those two schools, we are restructuring. If you haven't heard that to the community, we are Lincoln and Douglas School. We will still have Lincoln and Douglas School. So the schools will there will be kids in both schools, but Douglas School next year will only have preschool students. So the preschool students that are currently at Lincoln School, those teachers will be at Douglas next year. And then next year, all of the kindergarten and first grade teachers and the students will be in Lincoln next year. So
the move to attendance centers aims to better balance classroom sizes and students and teachers of the same grade into one central location. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at BaumChevyBuick.com right from the start.
News time is 23 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. A domestic violence tragedy in Clinton has local advocates of emphasizing that help is available 24/7 for those in dangerous situations. The community is mourning after a domestic incident resulted in the death of a local woman and subsequent murder charges for a Clinton man. Andrea Coker, Director of Services at Willow Tree Missions, says while every loss is unique, the potential for lethality is a constant concern when working with victims of domestic violence.
I think for me, it's probably a little bit different, but also in the same of it is such a tragedy and in my opinion, a preventable tragedy, but also the point for me that's a little bit probably different than what other people may think initially is that I know how possible this scenario is. I always know whenever we're working with people who are experiencing domestic violence that lethality is the possible outcome that we never want to see happen.
Sure.
For those who know someone in an abusive relationship, Coker notes the most important thing to do is offer unwavering support. She explains that victims may not be ready to leave immediately due to fear, safety concerns, or lack of self-esteem, but knowing they have a support network is critical.
Yeah, I think the first thing I want to hit on with that, Seth, is to know that truly everyone affected by this loss is in my thoughts and prayers. I can't begin to imagine what they are experiencing. So from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry for your loss. But also, if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, especially if it's someone you know and you feel helpless, the biggest thing that you can do to support someone is to just support them, to believe them, to let them know that they can get help, but know that their answer may not be yes at first. Their answer may not be yes because they know it's not safe. They're fearful. They may not have the self-esteem. They may not have the support network. They may not be ready. They may not know that they need to get out at this point, but continuing to encourage them and continuing to support them is the greatest gift that you can give people who are experiencing domestic violence.
Domestic violence is fundamentally rooted in power and control. Coker explains that the most dangerous moments often occur when an abuser feels that control is being threatened, leading to unpredictable and violent reactions as they attempt to reassert dominance.
So domestic violence is always rooted in power and control. The goal of a domestic violence relationship is for the abusing party to have power and control over their partner. Whenever that power and control is threatened, whenever there's any fear that the abuser is going to lose control of any kind, their actions are unpredictable. While I don't know the circumstances of this situation, I can have some suspect thoughts on what might have taken place to lead to this. But also, even if it's in a moment of someone trying to seek freedom, or in a moment of someone trying to seek safety, abusive relationship or abusive people will react to that. Even if it wasn't a thought out process, it doesn't matter. That their reaction is always going to be to protect the power and protect the control that they have over the other person.
Advocates are urging anyone in a domestic violence situation to reach out for professional assistance. Coker notes agencies like Willow Tree Missions in Piatt County and Dove Inc. in DeWitt County are available around the clock to help victims find a path to safety.
My biggest recommendation would be, if you need help, just find it. If you call the wrong agency, they're not going to hang up on you. You're happy to call. I'm happy to take that call at Willow Tree and Piatt County. If it wasn't the right place, I'll help you, or I'll find you the help that you need. I know that the service area for DeWitt County is Dove. They're amazing people doing amazing work. They too will take that call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I know they service. If you called the wrong place, they're still going to find you the help that you need. Sure. I think the biggest things that I really want the takeaway to be are that help is always available to you. We will always figure out a way to get you out and do everything we can to keep people safe. But also know that if you're living in a situation that is domestic violence, or domestic violence is present, the reality is this can turn into the outcome. Abusive people are unpredictable, and they are rooted in power and control. So their actions, if they lose that, are just unpredictable. So please seek help and let us start the path to getting you to safety too.
If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, you can contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233, or reach out to local resources like Dove Inc. at 217-935-6072. Again, that's 217-935-6072. Or call Willow Tree Missions at 217-762-2350, 217-762-2350. And you can learn more about Willow Tree Missions at willowtreemissions.org, or by finding them on Facebook. Get news anytime from your computer or from your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. That's DeWitt County's #1 source for news, sports, police blotter, obituaries, and more. Best of all, it's all free all the time, right at your fingertips at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news is now.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Iran is not pleased by President Trump's Project Freedom Initiative. The goal is to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to ship traffic, which has been disrupted by Iran. We don't know why he is hospitalized, but Rudy Giuliani is in critical but stable condition in a Florida hospital. President Trump calls the 81-year-old Giuliani fabulous and a true warrior. At least 10 people injured, a shooting last night at a party in Edmond, Oklahoma. Police say 2 gunmen were involved, and so far there have been no arrests. The United Airlines plane was coming in too low yesterday afternoon at Newark Liberty Airport. The jet clipped a light pole. That pole fell onto a semi-truck on the New Jersey Turnpike. No one on the plane was injured. The trucker suffered only minor injuries. Dow futures are down 196 points. More details, srnnews.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Slight chance of thunderstorms today, otherwise sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Daytime highs approaching 78. Southwesterly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again. Tonight, thunderstorms likely, lows level off around 50. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently, it's 56 degrees.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. The Illinois State baseball program captured the series sweep over Valparaiso with a 9-4 victory Sunday afternoon at Duffy Bass Field. Illinois State improves to 30-17 overall and 12-9 in Missouri Valley Conference play with the Senior Day win. Illinois State tallied its fifth consecutive game with a double-digit hit total after tallying 14 hits as 5 Redbirds recorded 2 or more hits in Sunday's victory. Michael Carano Jr. led the Redbirds offense with 3 hits in the victory to record his first back-to-back contests with 3 or more hits in his season debut with the Redbirds. Carano Jr. also added a pair of RBIs in the win to record his 8th multi-RBI performance of the campaign. Braden Biggs tallied his 26th multi-hit performance of the season with a pair of hits, including a double. Luke Stolga added a pair of hits to tally his 19th multi-hit game. Seniors Josh Outlaw and Nolan Berry each added a pair of hits and an RBI in the victory. The Redbirds took advantage in the home half of the first inning as Bakes doubled to left center to place a runner in scoring position in the opening moments of the frame. With a runner on, Carano Jr. delivered an RBI single to give the Redbirds a 1-0 advantage. After a scoreless second, the Beacons responded in the third with a pair of Redbirds errors, placing a runner into scoring position to set up an RBI single to even the score at 1-1. Despite the response from Valparaiso, Illinois State bounced back in the bottom of the third after a pair of walks and a single loaded the bases for the Redbirds. Illinois State capitalized on a throwing error from the Beacons to plate a run to reclaim the lead at 2-1. With the bases still loaded, Eric Machej delivered a sac fly to score another runner and push the Illinois State lead to 3-1. With 2 runners across in the frame, Berry added the Redbirds' third run of the frame with an RBI single to move it to 4-1. Following the Redbirds' 3-run third, Valparaiso put a run back in the top of the fourth with a run scoring on a double to trim Illinois State's lead to 4-2. In the home half of the fourth, Illinois State's offense sparked again as Graham Mastros doubled to lead off the inning. Bakes followed Mastros' double with a single to place runners on the corners and set up an RBI single from Carano Jr. to give the Redbirds a 5-2 advantage. With a run across in the inning, Outlaw followed Carano Jr.'s effort with an RBI single of his own to move the score to 6-2. Moments later, Camden Karchewski rounded out the Redbirds' second consecutive 3-run frame with a sac fly to give Illinois State the 7-2 lead. In the 7th, Valparaiso added a run to cut the deficit to 7-3. After a single frame and passed ball moved a runner into scoring position to set up an RBI double moments later in the frame. With the lead cut to 4, the Redbirds answered in the bottom half as back-to-back singles from Machej and Berry placed 2 runners on early in the inning. With a pair of base runners on, Peyton McHarg delivered a single to score 2 and give the Redbirds a 9-3 advantage late in the contest. Trailing in the closing moments of the game, the Beacons added a run on a ground out following a leadoff triple to move the score to 9-4. Despite the late run by Valparaiso, Tristan Rybarczyk struck out the final batter to secure the Illinois State victory. The Fighting Illini secured a 6-2 road victory over Iowa in the series finale on Sunday afternoon at Dwayne Banks Field. Aiden Flynn earned the first win of his collegiate career, while Michael Farina and Colin Jennings both hit home runs to fuel the Illinois offense. Flynn went 7 innings, his longest outing of the year, while allowing 1 hit and striking out 5. He posted 4 1-2-3 frames, while he retired 11 consecutive batters between the 3rd and 6th innings. Sam Mommer recorded the save, the first of his career, going 2 innings with 1 hit allowed and 3 strikeouts. At the plate, Jennings went 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs, including a 3-run homer that opened the scoring in the 2nd inning. Farina's 4th home run of the season came on a solo shot in the 3rd. A.J. Putty went 3 for 5 and scored twice, while Kyle Shupman tallied a 2 for 4 day while also reaching on a walk. Nick Groves and J.R. Nelson both reached twice on 2 walks apiece. The Illini accounted for the game's first 4 runs via home runs from Farina and Jennings before the Hawkeyes cut into the deficit with a run in the 3rd. After 4 straight innings of scoreless play, Iowa plated another in the 8th. In the top of the 9th, the Orange and Blue answered with 2 runs to add to their advantage. After scoring on a balk, the Illini scored their 6th run of the day on Jennings' 2-out RBI single. Mommer closed out the game with a 1-2-3 ninth inning to give the Illini their 10th conference triumph of the season. In a game heard on WHOW, Xander Bogaerts hit a go-ahead single in the 8th. Miguel Andujar and Manny Machado homered, and the San Diego Padres beat the Chicago White Sox 4-3 on Sunday to snap a 4-game skid.
The White Sox win streak snapped at 5, but not without a fight. Derek Hill off the bench with a pinch hit, game-tying home run on Sunday afternoon.
Well, there's a swing and a drive out into left center. It's back there. It is gone. He's tied the game. Derek Hill.
But a swinging bunt in the bottom of the 8th proved to be the difference in the ball game as the Padres prevented a sweep for the good guys. The Sox head 95 miles north up the coast from Petco to Angel Stadium as the Sox reconvene with the Halos, the team the Sox just swept at Wright Field before starting this California road trip. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage starting on Monday night at 8 p.m. on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
The White Sox will be back in action on WHOW tonight when they take on the Los Angeles Angels. Pregame starts at 8 p.m. Justin Robalski tossed 6 scoreless innings to help the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the St. Louis Cardinals 4-1 on Sunday to snap a 4-game losing streak. Robalski is 5-0 and allowed 6 hits and a walk. Tanner Scott pitched a scoreless 9th for his 2nd save of the season. Dustin May is 3-3 and allowed 3 runs on 7 hits in 6 innings for his first career start against the Dodgers since they traded him to Boston in July of 2025. St. Louis had won 6 straight heading into Sunday's contest. Shohei Ohtani went 0-3 with a walk and was hit by a pitch from Justin Brewell in the 7th inning. He is 0-14 over his last 4 games, his longest hitless streak since going 5 straight games without a hit as a member of the Angels in May 2022. Alec Burleson lined a single up the middle off Will Klein in the 8th inning to drive in Jordan Walker for his team-leading 28th RBI. Freddie Freeman stroked a 2-out RBI single up the middle in the 5th inning to put the Dodgers ahead 3-0. Andy Pages hit an RBI double to left field, and Hye-Sung Kim followed with an RBI single to right field in the 2nd inning to give the Dodgers a 2-0 lead. Dodgers right-hander Yoshinobu Yamamoto will start in the opener of a 3-game series at Houston, which is not yet named a starter. Cardinals righty Kyle Leahy will face Milwaukee right-hander Chad Patrick to open up a 3-game series at Busch Stadium. Michael Busch hit a 3-run triple and a sacrifice fly, and the Chicago Cubs beat the Arizona Diamondbacks 8-4 on Sunday for their 5th straight win. Moises Ballesteros homered as Chicago improved to 15-3 in its last 18 games. Matthew Boyd is 2-1 and pitched 6 innings of 2-run ball. At 22-12, the Cubs are a season-high 10 games over 500. They have won 11 straight home games for the first time since they won 14 in a row at Wrigley Field in 2008. Gabriel Moreno and Adrian Del Castillo each hit 2-run homers for Arizona in its 4th straight loss. Merrill Kelly is 1-3 and allowed 6 runs and 8 hits in 4 1/3 innings. The Diamondbacks had a chance to get back in the game in the 7th, loading the bases with 2 down, but Kettle Marty struck out swinging against Phil Maton, ending the inning. Ballesteros connected for a 2-run shot in the 3rd, and the NL Central leading Cubs added 3 more in the 5th. Ballesteros reached off a leadoff walk, and Alex Bregman followed on a bouncer to 3rd. Nolan Arenado tried to get Ballesteros at 2nd, but he beat out the throw. Ian Happ then walked after he used ABS to overturn a called 3rd strike. 1 batter later, Busch chased Kelly with a liner into the right corner. Busch's first triple of the season gave Chicago a 6-2 lead. Carson Kelly had 2 hits and 2 RBIs for the Cubs, and Nico Horner went 2 for 5 in his return to the lineup after missing Saturday's game because of tightness in his neck. Diamondbacks lefty Eduardo Rodriguez starts Tuesday against Pittsburgh in the opener of a 6-game homestand. Right-hander Bubba Chandler takes the mound for the Pirates. Cubs right-hander Edward Cabrera starts Monday night against Cincinnati in the opening of a 4-game series. The St. Louis Blues signed forward Dylan Holloway to a 5-year contract worth $38.75 million, General Manager Doug Armstrong announced Friday. Holloway, who's set to turn 25 in September before the next NHL season begins, will count $7.75 million against the salary cap through 2031. Getting him signed was one of Armstrong's final big tasks before turning the job over to GM-in-waiting Alexander Steen. His new deal was announced on Friday in the aftermath of Edmonton getting eliminated in the first round of the playoffs.